Hello everyone, today is Monday, August 17th, 2020. In this video, we're going to talk about homeless people taking over New York City. Except now, they're not only taking over the streets, they're now taking over hotels. You cannot make this stuff up in Bill de Blasio's city. And what's alarming is, you would think San Francisco would do a crazy thing like this, right? The most progressive city in the whole country would do something like this. They don't even do anything like this. But it's going to come to a point where you're going to see people dumping on the street. And I'm not talking about liquid dump. I'm talking about feces dump. So, you think they're doing that in San Francisco? It may happen in New York. So, this is just a heads up to anybody now. And especially how this is all happening during a global pandemic. So, we're going to watch a video from WPIX on how homeless people are being dumped in my neighborhood.
Tensions are running high in this Fresh Meadows neighborhood.
It's horrible. It's not right. It's not right to the community, the hardworking people here that own houses for many years.
Longtime residents furious that some 100 people recently released from prison are being housed at this hotel right across the street from their homes. The city never consulting or letting residents know.
I don't like it. They ruined the neighborhood.
This is wrong. This is totally wrong. I worked all my life to own this house across the street.
The people being housed in the hotel have no stable housing. So in order to maintain social distancing due to COVID-19, rather than a shelter, they're being housed at this Wyndham Garden on 186th Street.
The people of Fresh Meadows care, but they can't care about something that they don't know.
This community activist says the residents just want the city to explain to them who's being housed at the hotel. Longtime residents say it's about quality of life issues, some installing surveillance cameras, one neighbor even reportedly moving out.
I do see a lot of people hanging out in the middle of the night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Once again, thanks to WPIX for coming over here to Fresh Meadows and just talk about what we have to deal with in Fresh Meadows. Because there's just no consideration what Bill de Blasio is doing. Okay? I will go on the record, and I am very mad about this, that Community Board 8 and the Fresh Meadows Homeowners Association was not properly notified of this hotel. Okay? They were not. Do you realize that this hotel is in the downtown area of Fresh Meadows, our main hub of 188th Street? How is this acceptable? This is clearly not acceptable. I could understand maybe Community Board 8 not getting notified, which they should have been. But to not tell each and every homeowner in Fresh Meadows that this was going to happen? That's why we have a homeowners association. But no, the city wanted to keep this silent. And this is why we're stuck in this situation. And we're not only going to talk about Fresh Meadows, we're going to talk about how the Upper West Side's getting screwed as well. You think Fresh Meadows is the only neighborhood that's getting double-crossed lately? Oh no, it's the Upper West Side too. So we're going to get into that. Okay, so this is the hotel. This is the Wyndham Garden in the Fresh Meadows Shopping Plaza, right by Michael's. If you don't know where it is, it's also right by where the popular outdoor dining is at Applebee's. I actually went by Applebee's last month, and I'll tell you this: on a weekday night, it gets pretty packed for the outdoor dining. The outdoor dining is pretty popular. We'll say that. So, look at this. I have to say, our elected officials in Fresh Meadows can be useful. My Congresswoman Grace Ming, my State Senator John Liu. And here's the thing. Barry Grodenchik got involved in this. But here's the thing. That's not Barry Grodenchik's district. That's technically Rory Landsman's district. So I don't know why he's getting involved, but I guess I understand why. This is the negative effect of living west of 188th Street. They pretty much want to screw us. That's what happens. Alright, so we were kept in the dark once again. No proper notification from Community Board 8. No proper notification from the Homeowners Association. 100 inmates were released from Rikers Island and were dumped into the Wyndham Garden Hotel on 186th Street and Horace Harding Expressway until constituents were alerted. They asked the city to provide information about how long the hotel will be used to house people experiencing homelessness. The elected officials wrote, "We understand the critical role of transitional housing services for individuals who are working towards safe and successful re-entry. At the same time, we take with the utmost seriousness our responsibility to represent local residents, give voice to their concern, and ensure public safety." But here's the alarming thing. There are men loitering at 2 o'clock in the morning in front of residential houses. And it's gotten so bad that as soon as somebody found out this hotel was happening, another house is being sold on my street. Literally. On my street. Second house in 2 years that's being listed for sale. Can't make this stuff up. You just can't. Right? Temporary site for during the pandemic. But here's the thing. It said it was not subject to the same level of community notification and approval as a permanent shelter. So, I still think we should have been notified anyway. I do agree. They deserve better permanent housing. You know? The city's just not providing it right now. It's not like Giuliani, where Giuliani was able to provide apartments, you know, in decent areas. Well, people were able to get their act together. No. DeBozo doesn't believe in that. Once again, this is what they do. This is part of the Bozo's plan. He wants to target specific areas that have millionaires, like my area has. You don't think there's millionaires in Fresh Meadows? You don't think there's millionaires in Fresh Meadows? You tell me there's no millionaires in this area. Because de Blasio's clearly attacking the rich people in my area. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. So now, we're going to see how de Blasio is double-crossing the Upper West Side. Because this is where it gets good. Play the clip from WNBC, please.
We have an I-Team update for you tonight. We're now hearing from the NYPD's top cop about an uproar on the Upper West Side. It has to do with hotels converted into shelters for those experiencing homelessness. We first showed you the pictures back on Thursday. You saw some men passed out on the street, addiction, mental health problems in full view. But as the I-Team's Chris Glorioso shows us now, the NYPD says this is not an easy fix.
We clearly have a number of people with mental illness. We have people that are down on their luck and homeless. We got to bring the services, I think, to them.
The images are not pleasant. People passed out on sidewalks, slumped over near restaurant tents, some with hands down their. The Guardian Angels now pledging more patrols on the Upper West Side. But advocates for people struggling with homelessness say it's not fair to assume all these people are residents of hotels that have been turned into shelters.
Some of us don't want to be in this situation.
Roland Houston says he's a resident of the Lucerne Hotel, and he doesn't like these scenes any more than his new neighbors. When we interviewed him, he was standing on a sidewalk filled with chalk messages welcoming needy New Yorkers to the Upper West Side.
One in particular that said, everyone needs a home. When I saw that, that really touched me.
But some neighbors say this is not about compassion, it's about common sense. Gary Koklari told us the relocating of such a high concentration of homeless men to his neighborhood threatens the Upper West Side economy.
Why don't we take Javits Center? They outfitted it for over 1,000 people with COVID. They can be socially distanced in there.
A spokesperson for the city's Department of Homeless Services stressed the hotels here on the Upper West Side will serve as shelters only temporarily. And City Hall believes they have saved lives during the pandemic. Reporting from the Upper West Side, Chris Glorioso, News 4, New York.
Yep. So you clearly see here the dumping them in the Lucrane Hotel. This is a 4-star hotel. Why are they putting them in there? It's right by Amsterdam Avenue. Why? Why? Sorry about that. It just got me so upset. This wasn't going to be a positive video. Look at this. The owner of the hotel at 201 West 79th Street put the hotel on the market. Now, this is the dumbest thing. The owner claims, oh, I'm not selling the property because of homeless. I mean, this is just stupid. It probably has to be because the owner can't afford the rent. Has to be. That too, because again, they can't afford the rent. And since this pandemic started, the city has had so many vacancies, it's even hard to give an accurate number right now. I mean, this is the plan. This is the plan. They just don't care. And look at this. The Lucrane used to be a beautiful building, and now it's just going to be bad. Oh, and not to mention, Andy from NYC yesterday was in Jamaica, and 2 homeless men were sleeping on the J train.
You got two homeless. Unbelievable. That's what we gotta deal with in the city.
So you see, we're dealing with a quality of life crisis still. This virus has made it completely worse. This virus is going to be the downfall of New York City. I hate to say it, but this is going to be the downfall. And what's going to happen is, you're going to see the negative effects go into the suburbs. You think Long Island's going to get targeted? Wait until the same problems from the New York City region go into Jersey and go into Hudson Valley. And they may even end up in Connecticut. That's how bad the situation is. You're going to have all the bad felons end up in these suburban areas. They already are doing it to Long Island. Yeah, sure. There's areas that get targeted, like Mineola and Hicksville. But wait until you see the city's problems really go into Long Island. And you see them go into the Hudson Valley. You see them go into Jersey and Connecticut. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Because you know what our president said a couple months ago to New York City? Drop dead. So, not just him. It's de Blasio saying it's my way or the highway. Cuomo just wants to sit there and do nothing. He doesn't want to get involved in this. He's just sitting there in his comfy chair in Albany. Well, I have to sit in this wooden chair in Fresh Meadows. Okay? That's what he's doing right now. You know? Wait until the feds don't help us. Because right now, that stubborn senator from Kentucky doesn't want to help us. We call his voicemail in D.C. and we don't get through to him. So, this is just the start. You wait and see. Because, I hate to say it, I'm going to bleep it out in the editor. New York City is a shithole. And it's only going to get worse once we get our act together. We change our act in 2021. because we have to start doing it sooner or later. We are facing homeless being dumped in our area. Random areas of the city. Wyndham Garden, Fresh Meadows, and Lucraine in the Upper West Side. It's time to start realizing that New York City is dead.